How are we doing, guys? Welcome to the qualifying stage of Mexico. I just thought I would go through before the race with how we're getting on with the R&D, saving our car ready for next season. We've done so much work on the chassis. It looks to me as if we're going to be able to hold every part. We're going to spend another 562 to ensure that we get that part as well included. And I think we're also going to spend some money on the ICE because that seems to be a big problem for us during the course of the season. So I'm thinking that's quite a key ingredient for us going forward. In the qualifying as well, we do have a 10-place grid penalty. I have replaced 2 parts to the engine. I have put in a brand new ICE because we are burning through it and it is horrible, and I've also fitted a new turbocharger because that was at around about 60% nearly as well. So we are going to advance to the full qualifying in Mexico. I feel quietly confident. I have upped the difficulty to 75, so I'm making it more and more difficult as I get better with the wheel, which I do feel like I am getting better with the wheel. The only problem with the wheel I'm finding is I obviously am on medium traction, full traction control, sorry, whereas normally I'd be on medium. So I don't know, it's tough, but I think as well some of these circuits are quite fast. USA obviously has that first section up the hill into the high speed S's. Mexico has that just coming in towards sector 3 as well. So I'm very aware that those sections of the track are very fast. They make it very difficult for us. We are going to go straight out onto the track though with a flying lap, and let's see what we can produce in Mexico. It has been quite a good practice. I was running mainly in lean and no ERS, purely because I'm trying to see if we can just put in those laps, because we need 100 laps over the weekend in order for us to get our sponsorship money, which is quite large. It's like 400 grand or something stupid. So it's very important that we do 100 laps over the course of a weekend. Obviously in America I DNF'd and we just about scraped it, but that's purely because I put so many laps into the practice session, whereas this time I'm hoping for the opposite. I'm hoping to finish the race, and I didn't put too many laps into practice this time. I did put like 9 laps into one, 7 laps into another, plus then we simulated the third one, so I am hoping that we can do quite well from that still. It may have even been more actually through the first one. I think it was more than 7. In session 2 I definitely put in like 9 laps, because I just drove those laps. Session 1 I did obviously the 5 laps for the race strategy, 3 laps for the acclimatization, so we probably did end up putting about 10 or 12 actually for that. I think we did ERS and fuel management and maybe even tyre management as well, so we did put a lot of laps in to start with. I'm hoping that Nick put in quite a few laps as well. Obviously he's been doing quite a good job for us as a secondary teammate. He has done well. Danny Ricciardo goes fastest with a 1:18. Now I'm not really sure where I stand here with my lap times. Obviously we've got a brand new IC and a turbocharger, so I feel like we've got some good power coming back in. No wear on those, maybe a couple of percents, but we're looking like we could put in quite a strong time, I reckon, through qualifying. Mexico again, quite good for our car. I know we're not the fastest on the grid, but we're still, you know, hovering around 8th place in terms of what our car is. We do have a 10-place grid penalty, remember, so ideally we need to try and make it through to Q3, sorry, and do really well. That puts us second. We're only 0.4 behind Alexander Albon, who is our rival. I still think these rivalries are terrible, to be honest with you. How on earth Alexander Albon in a Red Bull ends up as one of my rivals, I really do not know. We've set a pretty good time. We're ahead of quite a few drivers. Let's simulate forward 5-10 minutes maybe, see where we end up. We've got to be top 16. We're in 10th right now. We're looking okay. Nick's only in 20th. Nick did quite well in one of the practice sessions. He was like 14th in one of the practice sessions. We're going to be top 16 by the looks of it. I am going to risk it. I think we're okay. We should be okay here. We're in 10th. A lot of drivers behind us obviously going, but I can't see 7 drivers beating us here. It doesn't look like Nick's going to do very well either, unfortunately, so Nick is going to go out. We dropped to P11, which is absolutely fine. Nick qualifies in 19th, so not ideal. I don't know next year. Do we spend money on a good driver? I mean, Nick's coming 19th, and he's a pretty poor driver in the stats. He's obviously a good driver in real life and that, but in the game, obviously, his stats aren't fantastic. So he kind of competes near the back of the grid. Doesn't come last very often. So that's always quite positive. I think we can definitely put in a faster lap here in Q2. Hopefully we can. If we can make it to Q3, that'd be great. Qualifying does get wet at the end, so I feel like we need to put in a good lap as fast as we can, really, because once the rain comes, you know that we are 100% not going to be putting in a faster lap than anyone that's done it on the softs. So there's no hanging around in qualifying for us. We're straight out again, straight into putting in some quick laps as fast as we can. Because as soon as the rain comes in, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot. If you remember back to Canada, I think it was, we had a wet Q3, or just, I think we were doing one short qualifying, weren't we? 18 minutes long. And Hamilton left until like the last few minutes and it was raining and everyone else had set a lap in the softs and he had like 19th place or something. So it is important to get out as soon as you can in qualifying. Just because you never know what's going to happen, especially if it's dynamic weather. It does tell me that it's going to rain at the end of the session, so I don't know exactly when that's going to be. So I'm hoping that we can avoid that rain, obviously, set a good lap with some dry tyres, because then we should be able to leapfrog ourselves up. We need to get to Q3. That 10-place grid penalty is going to cost us, obviously, 10 positions. So, you know, if we qualify first, the best we can do is come 11th on the grid. So it's going to be difficult. We're going to be outside the points, chasing people. I hope we can do quite well, though. I feel quite confident on the Mexican track, to be totally honest with you. I feel fairly comfortable. I'm getting much better with the wheel for sure. Hopefully you guys can see this as we're going on. Obviously when I had it in Japan, I struggled like crazy. So I'm hoping we do a little bit better now with this. We're looking quite good. I feel like we can definitely put in a decent lap here and get into Q3. I'm putting in plenty of practice laps, like the USA as well. I put in a lot of practice. So I'm trying to get good at the circuits with the wheel. It's not easy at all, but we're definitely getting better, and the more practice we put in, the better we're going to become. So here we go. Let's see what we can get here as we do a 1:17.5. That puts us just half a second or 0.4 behind Charles Leclerc. So that's a very, very solid lap. I think we should be safe to be in the top 10 with that, to be honest. I can't imagine Charles Leclerc will drop too far down. We are in 5th right now. We may have to just take a risk here and see. I don't know. We're in 7th. I think we go out again. Do you know what? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to take a very high risk here. This is a high risk manoeuvre. We're going to just relax and hope we stay in the top 10. Where are we going to be? Okay, we're in 7th. We're okay. We're okay. We're looking pretty good. Albon sneaks through. I'm hoping to qualify ahead of him. I don't know if my grid penalty then means I technically qualify below him or what, but we'll wait and see in the rivalry. We're into Q3. Massive again. I think we're definitely getting better with the wheel. I probably need to up the difficulty a little bit, but the problem being, I make mistakes with the wheel. That's the issue. You saw in America, we tried a bit too hard. The rain is due to be starting round about now, so I'm going to go straight out. Hopefully the track's dry enough for me to set. It's definitely not raining just yet, but I'm guessing within the next few moments it's going to start raining. So it's very important we put in a very quick lap straight away. It's very important that we put a lap in right now, because otherwise, once the rain starts coming and it makes the track wet, all sorts are going to struggle. So we need to make sure we just kind of go for it and hope to hit a very good lap straight away. We are right behind a Ferrari here, which I don't really want to be behind, but if I could be behind, it's not so bad. It would actually be better if I was closer, because I could get a slight bit of toe down the straight here with a little bit of slipstream, but that's not going to happen. I mean, I doubt we're going to get a slipstream from all the way back here, are we? But we're going to go as fast as we can, push as hard as we can. I think there's a Ferrari behind us as well, actually, so hopefully we can produce something good here. Kind of drifting off the racing line a little bit there, so not quite sure what that noise was there. And something sounded like it was dragging on the floor behind us, but not quite sure what that was. But quite a good little first sector there, actually. I've always got to remember, this corner down here, you definitely need to brake earlier than the race line suggests. Obviously you've got DRS and everything, so I usually brake just before the sort of 150 line. And just kind of coast it round a bit. But Carlos, I slammed on the brakes way too hard there. Way too hard. Wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention more to the fastest lap there. Bottas goes quickest, 1:17.2. I feel like we could put in a decent lap, but that slamming on the brakes has definitely hampered my lap time early on. We're trying to take this quite quickly here. Just got to try and get really tight to the curbs. That was a really good exit out of there as well, actually. I don't honestly know how we're going to stack up here as we come flying into sort of sector 3. The last few corners here, very slow. This one especially, very slow. So you kind of almost go right back on yourself here. And then it's quite a nice track, the Mexican Grand Prix, though. I know it's not a massively popular one with the fans, but I don't think it's too bad. We're looking for a 1:17 or a 1:16. 1:17.1 is very good. I think we're going to push again for another lap here. I'm going to try not to wander too much off the race line this time. We wandered a little bit last time. Trying to head as straight as we can. Still not really gaining much time, but All it takes is one decent turn to gain some time. There, we're already in green delta there, so kind of cut the corner a little bit there, get away with it, and we're pulling away, which is good. I think we need a hell of a qualifying session here if we're going to get anything good, because obviously a 10-place grid penalty is definitely not going to help us. We should be able to gain some time here though, as long as I don't get put off by any more lap times. We do gain a bit more time here. We're sort of half a second, 0.4 quicker so far. It's quite a heavy breakthrough there as well. Oh, gaining time. The exits are always good though. Slow in, fast out is always a good way to approach your corners, guys. Honestly, if you can go slow into them, you'll definitely get more speed when your acceleration on the way out, and that definitely helps. And that's quite good. That was quite good there. Charles Leclerc moves over. We are moving pretty quickly here through this. It's fastest sector of the session. Sector 2 there. We've got the fastest out of anybody so far, so that's very positive. No, we're half a second up at the moment, and like I said, I think maybe it's time to up the difficulty even more, and we're pushing all the way round, and we've got a puncher. We're going to qualify here still, and we've got a massive puncture. I kind of want to see what happens. We've actually got a mega puncture, and you can see the tyre. That's the first puncture we've had of the season. That's going to cause me real problems, and we're actually going to return to the garage, but that's kind of cool to see, as we do end up with a puncture that will cost us to return to the garage there. That was quite cool actually, having a puncture. I've never had one before. That was a pretty cool thing. We get a puncture on the way in. We've got front wing damage as well. But we do manage to post a really, really good time. Probably could have gone fastest there, but we're just going to leave it and see how we get on. Sector 2 was incredibly quick for us there. 0.3 faster than pretty much everybody. Looking quite nice there. Or at least 0.2. It looks like everybody else is out apart from us, and I don't know where we're going to end up, but obviously a 10-place grid penalty. We actually qualified second, so we will start 12th. Obviously that's kind of bad for us. That is kind of bad for us to qualify in P2. However, we get a 10-place grid penalty. I will up the difficulty, I think, after this race. Maybe, I just want to see if we can actually race well from P12. P12 is for a sponsorship as well, so if we can finish 12th or above, that would be great. The race is meant to be dry, so that's always fantastic for us when the race is dry. Looks like a great qualifying session. It must be a relief being that far up the grid. I'm happy to be meeting the teams. Oh wait, let's say... No, let's go for that. Let's boost everybody. The acclaim. Let's get the acclaim up. That's what you want. Left some bodywork on the track. It's nothing that won't buff out. That's alright. We're all good. That puncture was kind of cool though. Claire's done. We're done for the session, guys. P2, we are going to get a 10-place penalty, so we'll start 12th. The race in Mexico should be pretty good, so hopefully I'll see you there.